Welcome back to the last half hour of the Generation Y Conservative Show. I am your host, Chris. Listen, before we get into everything, I want to remind everyone that if you're interested in following along on social media, you can always find me on Facebook. Just search for the Generation Y Conservative, and you can hit like on the page as well as follow to get notifications when I post new articles. And typically what I do is I take news articles and post them on there with my own thoughts. We post funny memes and everything. And it's your opportunity to see the types of topics that are probably coming up in that week's next show on Mojo 50 Radio. So especially if it's something that concerns you or that you find funny, you'll definitely find it on the show when it airs then. Also, go to YouTube and search for the Generation Y Conservative, and you'll find the channel there. You can hit subscribe and the bell to get notifications when we publish new videos, whether they're the show itself, movie reviews, gun spotlight reviews like in the last segment that we had for the Smith & Wesson revolver, or little tidbits of different things. So we have multiple things going on. There's a lot of movies coming out this year, by the way, that we're doing movie reviews on. Not only did we see the unplanned movie review in the first half hour of the show today, but last week we had the Shazam movie review, which I would actually recommend that you go back and watch that as well. And next week is the Avengers Endgame, which, as far as I'm concerned, is my most anticipated movie for the year in that genre. There's only one other genre that I'm looking forward to a movie being released for, and that's the It Chapter 2 in the horror category, because I've been a fan of Stephen King's It and a lot of his stuff since I was a kid, but it was the defining horror movie for me as a kid and why I hate clowns. So when they did the remake, I was like, I don't know if this guy Skarsgård can really capture the essence of Pennywise the clown like Tim Curry did. I just don't know if he could do it. And yet he took the presence of Pennywise and with a Victorian outfit on, I guess you could say, turned Pennywise into this menacing, scary as hell version of Pennywise that just, it blows my mind. I can't believe they did such a good job on Chapter 1 with those kids and everything. So I'm really looking forward to Chapter 2. That being said, there are movies between those and towards the end of the year with the new Star Wars movie and everything that you're sure to get a movie review on from me, the Generation Y Conservative, on that channel as well. So hit subscribe. Also, by the way, if you are interested, you can go to Twitter and follow along with me there and get involved. And all you have to do is search for @GenY Conservative without the E on the end. Follow me there, interact with me as I interact with other Mojo hosts, and participating in the hashtag What I Learned Today when I possibly can, and terrorizing, not literally, but terrorizing the thought process of liberal politicians as well. You're not going to find me getting into too many heated arguments with liberal Twitter users that are just attacking me for attacking's sake, because I'm less interested in engaging with individuals who can't hold an intelligent conversation than I am with interacting with these politicians and having people see that discussion play out and changing the hearts and minds of those individuals. So that's more what I'm interested in, besides interacting with fun people on our side of the argument. This half hour, the last half hour, is actually brought to you by the Doc Thompson Health Challenge. It was created to help Brad Staggs improve his health, and it was created as a challenge that Doc Thompson would be proud of and support. Doc Thompson was a healthy guy, okay? Unfortunately, with his death at such a young age, he died while trying to be healthy. He was jogging along a Amtrak train track when he was struck, and I don't know why that happened, but his passing has woken up a lot of the community, especially the radio community that talk about conservative policies and stuff, that we need to take care of our health more. This challenge brings the Mojo 50 community together for a common cause, which is to heal, survive, and thrive. It's a 90-day challenge. Now, this challenge started on Monday, March 4th of this year, but don't let that stop you from getting involved now, okay? It's hosted by Gwen Rich, who is a health advocate and founder of The Rich Solution at www.therichsolution.com. That's RICH solution.com. Or therichsolution.com, sorry. Now, they talk about the 8 obstacles for everyone when it comes to their health. Those 8 obstacles that you need to conquer for optimal health include diet, mental attitude, exercise, sleep, stress, environmental toxins, community, and emotional health. Most of that stuff, if you look through that, like here, I'll just do it right now. Mental attitude, sleep, stress, environmental toxins, community, and emotional health. That's 6 of the 8 deal with your mental well-being, because you can't work on your physical well-being unless you're actually taking care of your mental well-being. If you're in a depressed state or you just have a lazy mindset and everything, you're not going to be able to push forward through these goals and actually get yourself to be healthy. So to find out more about that, just go to therichsolution.com. Also, this half hour is brought to you by Atrantil, okay? Now, you can go to lovemytummy.com/mojo or lovemytummy.com /spoony, SPOONY. Atrantil is a 90-day capsule box, which is normally $40 a box. But when you buy 3 boxes with our coupon code, you get a 3-month supply of bloating and digestive relief for only $99, which saves you over $20 on 3 boxes of Atrantil. It's the first ever over-the-counter proven solution for bloating. I've been bloated before. I don't get it too often, but you want to laugh at it when you think of someone being bloated, but bloating can be painful. It can feel like a rock in your stomach's rock hard and create this like tension in your stomach that is just painful. So you want to treat it if you have this issue on a common basis or a common reoccurrence. It's developed by board-certified gastroenterologist Ken Brown. It's safe for daily use. It's 100% natural polyphenols are designed to address bloating problems where they begin, not just treat a symptom. It's not a probiotic, not an antibiotic. This is a blend of polyphenols and is desired by your body to work as a gut regulator to end methane and then function as a postbiotic to benefit your overall health. You know, this whole gut regulation thing is pretty fascinating. They're starting to think that things like dementia and Alzheimer's and problems like that are actually due to gut problems and an imbalance of your gut. So it only makes sense that a lot of these problems may circulate around your gut, and if you have bloating issues, maybe that's a sign of a deeper problem. This is the world's only digestive aid that contains K-Braco, okay? K-Braco, Colorado. For athletes, it's the world's only bloating remedy that is NSF certified for sport. So why would you get this? If you're ever bloated after eating, get abdominal distension and tightness. If you feel tired and heavy after eating a meal. If you have unpredictable bathroom habits with constipation or even sporadic diarrhea. Symptoms that look like IBS. So, again, go to lovemytummy.com /mojo or lovemytummy.com /spoony, okay? So you can go to those 2 websites, and with that offer, you can get the 3 boxes on a $20 discount. Okay, let's get into more politics now here. Rashida Talib. She's one of those 3 freshman Congress people that are really driving people nuts right now, along with Ilhan Omar and Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. This woman is bat crap crazy, okay? You know, it's amazing to me It's amazing to me that we went from a time on 9/11 of saying, listen, there is a religion out there. The Islamic religion is hell-bent on destroying the Western way of life. And all of us being able to recognize that. And then within a few years, getting to a spot where society basically tries to bubble wrap and protect the Muslim communities from any type of criticism. If you criticize at all, you're Islamophobic, right? And that's not the case, but it's people like Rashida Talib and Ilhan Omar that get away with saying the most outlandish crap, okay? And shedding a bad light on the moderate Muslim community, and you can see that they're for like the radical Islamic practices, and yet they get away with saying what they do because if you criticize them, you're just Islamophobic. So here's what Rashida Talib said in regards to ICE. Okay, we're talking about immigration earlier. It says Rashida Talib, representative, incites activists to shut down ICE and stop waiting for Congress to pass a law. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what that means, but it says the Democratic representative of Michigan told an audience not to wait for Congress to change the laws, but instead take their own steps to shut down the Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This is what she said. I want you all to shut them down. We can shut them down. Don't wait for Congress to act on this. Shut them down. She went on to specifically cite hunger strikes as one method to shut down ICE. There are some people that are using hunger strikes, all these other things, going to the border, and I plan to. All these other things. What are these other things? Well, she's literally saying that without policy changes, she wants you as a citizen to get out there and shut down ICE. Now, hunger strike is one of the ways of doing that, but she also says all these other things, right? Let me be very clear on what Rashida Talib is actually advocating for. Domestic terrorism. Okay? She's saying that we need to shut down ICE by any means necessary if the government refuses to do it themselves. So Rashida Talib is actually invoking violence against American citizens that happen to be ICE officials that are at the border trying to protect us from the evil people that would get in. Not all immigrants are evil. It's that a portion of those, percentage-wise, statistically speaking, have to be evil people. All right? And we see that all the time. We see the news reports all over the place. Drunk driving illegal immigrants that crash into American families and kill them all. The violence at the border. The sex trafficking. The drug trafficking that comes across the border. And we're supposed to just allow these things to happen out of compassion for them trying to reach a better life from coming from crap hole countries, and at which point you have again that circular argument that is counterintuitive to their other argument. They on one hand will argue that we need to save these people from the crappy, I want to say the S word, I'm sorry, the crappy countries that they come from, and yet will rail against a president who says that they come from crap hole countries and say that those are beautiful countries that they come from. How dare you say that they're crap hole countries? But then we'll advocate and say, well, we need to give them asylum because they're coming from dangerous countries. Which is it? What are you trying to say here? It doesn't make any sense. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth, which happens. That should be the slogan for the Democratic Party in 2020. Vote for put X in because there's over like 20 candidates in now. Vote for the Democrats because we speak out of both sides of our mouth. That should be their slogan coming up. So that's Rashida. Let's go to the other freshman congressman, right? Alexandria Ocasio Cortez and her summing up of the Mueller Report. Now, the Mueller Report, what we've been waiting on for dang near close to 2 years now to prove Russia collusion with Trump and their interference in the elections. turned out to be a big nothing burger, kind of like we all anticipated anyway, because for the past 2 years, the 24-hour news cycles that have been going on in regards to it have been saying it's just around the corner. Trump is definitely involved in something. Why would it be taking 2 years now for them to get this report out there if nothing was involved? Obviously, the evidence is stacking up. It's becoming a mountain against Trump, right? Every single day, the 24-hour news cycle, 22 hours of that on CNN and MSNBC is dedicated to the fact that we're getting ready for this report because it's there. There's something there. Even experts coming on, even though no details were released, saying, yes, there's definitely collusion between Trump and Russia. You know, it's the old saying of if you tell a lie enough, that eventually you'll believe it yourself. And I believe that's what happened with the mainstream media. Instead, what actually happened was the Mueller Report was released, and it shows that there's nothing that they can point to in regards to Russia collusion with Trump. The only thing that they really can point to, most likely in that, and I haven't read the 400-page report, I don't have time for it. I go based off of not only what the right pushes out in regards to the report, but also what the left highlights from the report. So if there was anything in there, it would be all over the news right now. Instead, they're trying to bring Mueller in front of a congressional hearing because they believe now that it's a conspiracy cover-up of the Mueller report. These people can't let good enough alone, you know? We're going to see in a little bit what this one voter had to say in regards to the report, a Democratic voter, that the Democrats should just leave this alone at this point because it's just making them seem more insane by the day as they try to pursue this type of thing. So anyway, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez sums up with one tweet. It says, she tweeted her response to the release of the Mueller report on Thursday and said that she now backs impeachment. like she didn't before. Give me a break. Which she had previously shrunk from endorsing. I don't think so. Mueller's report is clear in pointing to Congress's responsibility in investigating obstruction of justice by the president. It is our job as outlined in Article 1, Section 2, Clause 5 of the U.S. Constitution that she has never read. I guarantee it. I'm guessing that this is one of her aides pointing out something. And they probably had to draw little stick figures and put together like a nice little picture book to explain what the Constitution actually is to her. As such, I'll be signing on to Rashida Talib, there's that name again, her impeachment resolution. Well, of course they are. They're teaming up on this. She had previously been non-committal about impeachment, saying at one point that she would go along with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi about the process not being worthwhile. Later, she cited the political difficulty of impeaching the president. I think what's tough is impeachment in principle is something I openly support, but it's also just the reality of having the votes in the Senate to pursue that. And so that's something that we have to take into consideration. Well, yeah, obviously you do. Stating the obvious facts there. Dum-dum. What was that movie from? The Night in the Museum, the big Stonehenge guys. Dum-dum. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, the Democrat, said on Thursday that impeachment was not worthwhile, echoing Pelosi's earlier sentiments. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Number one, there's nothing there to go after, in which case it's the veteran Democrat Congress people that understand why impeaching or pursuing the impeachment process on Trump is so damaging to the Democrat brand right now. And the freshmen are looking for a spotlight soapbox opportunity to make a name for themselves, to secure and concrete their presence in Congress for decades to come. Okay, so that they could be the next Nancy Pelosi, getting old and having dementia in the Congress, to the point where they can retire happily and live off of the funds of the American people, right? But Steny Hoyer and Nancy Pelosi, for as horrible as they are as people, realize that pursuing impeachment will only ruin the Democratic brand, because what happens is to go through the process, to investigate, after 2 years of an investigation, already wasting millions of dollars of American taxpayer money, will only contribute even more to wasting more money when they're talking about doing things that would constitute liberal policies that they're pushing for the American people in the process of running for president in the next election, they're going to be raising our taxes anyway. So they already know that that's going a strike against them. Then they're going to waste even more of our taxpayer money on falsely chasing after things. And on top of that, the Mueller report produced nothing. There's nothing to pursue in that case. So they just end up looking like complete morons. I mean, AOC does a good job of that on her own anyway. But it just shows you that these freshman Congress people like Rashida Talib and Ilhan Omar and AOC are just trying to spotlight themselves and get themselves on front page headlines for everything. At this point, I just can't believe that for every major article that's written about Alexandria Ocasio Cortez or video that's put out there, 99% of them are highlighting her naiveness and stupidity, and this girl still keeps on coming out and trying to make a name for herself. Why doesn't she shrink into the shadows, for crying out loud? It's embarrassing at this point. But listen, don't take it from me. Let's actually see what this guy had to say on MSNBC in regards to why it's a bad idea for the Democrats to keep on pursuing this Mueller report and making a big deal out of it when there's obviously nothing there. So let's take a look at that real quick.
But I do want to bring in one of the voters who I've been talking to this morning, Harold Chase. And you're someone who, now that you've seen the report come out, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that, like I said earlier, that it's all false, the reports. There's nothing in there that shows the President of the United States is guilty of anything. There's no Russian collusion and there's no obstruction. They're going to try to find something, look at that report, pick it apart, and they'll try to find something and run with it. And nothing's going to happen.
So you say they, I think you're talking about Democrats. When you say they're going to run with it, do you think that they should talk about this as they campaign for president?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's just going to destroy them. They won't get in. They won't win in 2020 if they keep pushing this.
And what do you think, to you, the most important thing is now that this report is out? What do you want to see happen next?
Well, the report is out. I think they just need to move on and just drop it. If they just keep going forward, they're not going to get anywhere. They're just destroying themselves.
Thank you.
Okay, so even Democratic citizens are taking a look at the information coming out and saying this is a big mistake that the Democrats have been pursuing for 2 years now, and it turned out to be nothing. And the fact that they have made such a big deal over the past 2 years has really highlighted the fact that the Democratic left, the liberal progressive left, has lost their damn minds over these things, and that we're able to spotlight now the insanity of the left and what they do. There was actually another video where they were talking, and on CNN, this one woman was talking about this openly gay mayor and what they were doing. And she said, for all these protesters that come out and protest against abortion and the LGBT community, LGBTQIA and second whatever, free spirit stuff, that if these people are Christians and that they love Jesus, then why aren't they more like Jesus and more friendly, and that they should be taking that cue from Jesus? There's a good point there. We talked about in the Unplanned movie that there's two types of Christian protesters, those holding up signs and yelling at people, and those that try to reach people through compassion. And there's a point to be made there with how we act towards each other. But it was the left that only a couple years ago were saying love and light and let's take care of each other, let's come together, let's heal the nation and everything. And then the second that Trump gets in, they turn into rioting fanatics that destroy shops on the streets of people, set fires, shut down campus talks from conservative speakers. They mask themselves with handkerchiefs and sunglasses and make themselves look like Unabombers and dress up all in black and go out in the streets and beat the hell out of people. Like, it's the left that has become terrorists. They've become domestic terrorists, and it's just insane for someone to say that, why don't you act more like Jesus, when it's their side that has become the violent option to the right, okay? And that brings me to my conservative reflection. We are getting into the throngs of this new election now, and apparently there may even be someone that challenges Trump on the Republican side, which I think would be a bad idea. But you have the Democrats showing their true colors more and more every single day. For the past 2 years, as I said, they've become more violent. They've become angry in their rhetoric. They've been going after people. If you don't fall lockstep in line, goose step in line, in my opinion, with every single talking point that the left puts out, you're thrown out of the party, okay? If you don't follow every single step, if you happen to be a pro-life Democrat and everything else falls in line with them, you're out of the party. It is either their way or the highway, and they want to talk about how they care about people and your opinions matter and the choices that you have. If they're so pro-choice, you would think that they would allow people to have different choices within their party, but their tent has become more like a shrinking tent, right? It's gone down to now a porta potty. It should be, their platform should not be the liberal tent, but the liberal porta potty, especially with all the poop problems that they're having out in San Francisco. Instead, what we're actually seeing is an increase in the conservative party, because conservative policies have been working around the country, like those in Texas, right? We're seeing the walk away movement, walk away from the Democratic Party, and a lot of those people coming over to the Republican side. And it's not necessarily that you have to vote Republican, but as long as you're not held hostage to the mentality of the left and what they are requiring you to vote for, this is going to be a very special election. And with all the success that Trump has seen and brought to America through his economic policies and the great things that have been happening, he really has been making America great again. And the only people that are not seeing that and are refusing and are in denial and are looking for things to hate him for are those on the left that can't open their eyes, that can't let differing opinions in. But listen, I appreciate everybody joining me tonight. Thank you for joining us on the Generation Y Conservative Show. Have a great night, and God bless America.